So Linda, how long have you worked here at Edgewood Campus School?
Oh, it's been close to 20 years.
20 years, wow, okay. And what was your main position at Edgewood?
I was the science teacher
Okay.
at the middle school level.
Okay. And how long have you worked with international students?
It's been 5 years.
Okay, 5 years.
Sally Dre, first of all, brought them in about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And at that point, I came on board as a tutor for those students.
Okay. And what was the #1 benefit that they got from meeting with you and getting help from you?
Well, I think I became their mentor. I became their tutor. I became the person they could go to if they were totally confused or didn't understand the assignment, or they just needed help in interpreting the book, the textbook, the reading. Maybe they just needed a little bit more of a vocabulary buildup. Perhaps the lesson had English words that they just didn't understand, and I would help them understand those key terms, the terminology. Okay. And then from there we could decipher the story.
Yeah. Okay. And how often could they come to you? How how easy were you to reach?
It varies. I'm always here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And initially, when they come in, if they don't know the English language at all, I'm with them probably 5-6 hours a week.
Yeah, wow.
Now, as they progress and they don't need me as much, I wean them, and it gets down to 3 hours or 4 hours a week. And then, as time passes, it may be 2 hours a week, or it might be they check in for an hour. Okay. So it depends on what they're needing, and then we vary it from there.
Okay. And what would you say there's #1 obstacle or difficulty or challenges, and how well do they overcome that?
Well, the biggest challenge is understanding the English language. And the first thing they will always tell me is the teachers talk so fast. And I'll say, yes, I understand that. We'll slow it down so that when I talk with you, we'll talk in terminology, we'll talk in key words. And then we use the Google Translator.
Yeah.
So now that makes it so much easier. We can sit side by side, 2 computers. I type it in English, it comes out in Chinese.
Yeah.
He types it back to me in Chinese, it comes back to me in English. And we can pretty much move along with any assignment by doing that. And whether it's a key math term or whether it's a story from literature, we can usually translate it into something they understand.
Okay.
So the biggest, of course, is reading English, writing English, speaking English, understanding the English language. Yeah. Those are the key obstacles when they first come. And it's a very slow process those first few weeks. But then it becomes more mainstay once they start hearing more of the English language and they're submerged in it.
And what's the usual, how long does it take for them to feel comfortable, confident, ask teachers questions?
It depends on the student. Some are pretty assertive initially and feel very comfortable, and Sally tells them and I tell them, please feel free to ask teachers questions. They want to hear from you. And even if you don't think you can speak the language, try. Try speaking. Write it down for the teacher. The teacher will help you in every way possible. And so we encourage that. Okay.
And what sort of tools, technology, or books do you use to help them with English or learning any language or course?
Well, we have the iPads now, which has been a nice addition. So they can carry those with them, they're portable, we can take them from class to class, teacher to teacher. So that's a very good asset this year.
Great.
That's probably the biggest. But we also use many illustrations and pictures and sketches, things that would probably bring it more to life.
Okay, yeah. And how many cultures or different international students have you worked with?
Mostly Asian. We've had Thai students, Korean, Chinese, but we've also had some Spanish students. I have an African student that's in 3rd grade right now.
Okay.
So little by little we're getting more international, which has been nice.
Yeah, great. And why would you say Edgewood Campus School or Edgewood High School? Why is that the best choice for an international student?
Well, I've been here 20 years and it's a very hard place to leave. It's just a very friendly atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think it's a very nurturing atmosphere for the students. We team build, we work on collaboration and cooperation rather than competition. We would never encourage students to think that they want to be number one. We want them all to succeed. We want them all to work hard. We want them all to reach their capacity and to achieve the very most they can, but do it in a way where it's a collaborative effort.
Okay. Yeah. And what, last two questions, what's the communication between you and maybe the families or the, the teacher, student, or parent relationship?
With the teachers, I talk directly. And every Tuesday and Thursday, I touch base with the teachers so I know in what particular subjects maybe we need to put more emphasis.
Okay.
And then with the parents, I email. So whether it's perhaps they're with an aunt or an uncle or a host family, or the parents are overseas, we can communicate usually by email.
Okay.
That's usually the main correspondence.
If you were to give one recommendation for an international student on their first day of class here at Edgewood, what would that recommendation be?
Just be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be patient with yourself. Take your time. It's going to be frustrating at first because you're not going to understand the language. But be patient. It will come and we will help you. So just give it time.
Sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Linda.
I have a few questions to add to that, Linda. How do you help make new students feel welcome here at Edgewood?
That's a good question. We try to touch base with them initially, the first time they walk in the door. So I introduce myself to them, tell them who I am, and that I'm here to help them, to tutor them, to mentor them. And usually we can get that word across, tutor. They understand that usually right away. And mentor. And we put it into their language. We Google it, translate it, saying this is who I am. Call me Linda, not Mrs. Janoshek. Call me Linda. I'm here to be your friend. I'm here to help you through this process to make you succeed in our academic subjects. So any concerns, problems you have, issues, things you are confused in, just bring it to me and we'll try to work through it together.
Okay. I like that. And what are your expectations for your new students?
My expectations would be that they work hard, that they get to know the community, that they collaborate with everyone, that they are outgoing and friendly, and that they feel a part of Edgewood. We want them to be part of our team. So I would hope to make them comfortable. I want them to be relaxed. I want them to take their time learning the language and not expect too much of themselves those first few weeks. It's going to be trying, it's going to be frustrating, it's going to be difficult, so just be easier on yourself. Just take your time and it'll come if you're patient.
Okay, that's great. And what makes learning at Edgewood unique?
Unique. I think it's our whole environment. I think it's a Christian-based, value-based campus where everyone is accepted, everyone is part of the fold. You feel from when you first walk in here that you are one, that people are here to help you. We're not here to evaluate you. We want to help you.
Okay.
And whatever it takes, working as a team, we will be successful together.
I like that.
Everybody has their advantages and disadvantages. Everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses, and we work with each other to help build the best environment we have.
Sounds good. A lot of parents are concerned for their students to go to college. What does Edgewood do to prepare their students for college?
I think our teachers do a very good job academically. They're very strong academically, and they expect a lot. And those expectations are that they do homework, that they know how to organize their thoughts, that they can write and read in English, and thoroughly prepare themselves to move on to the next step.
Okay. I have one last question for you. Just when learning English for an international student, what's the biggest gap that you think you fill, here at Edgewood? Help a student bridge?
One of the biggest things would be just understanding the assignment. Comprehending what it is that they want me to do when I'm speaking for the student. So if it's a science assignment or it's a literature assignment, many times in literature it's difficult for them to read those 10 pages in English when they first come. So what we do is we go through the story together and we summarize it in just a paragraph or two. So they get the gist of the story. They may not recognize all the details of the stories, but at least they'll get the gist of the story. So I think that's a big obstacle, is the material is so large. I try to condense it and summarize it into something easier for them to understand.
That's very beneficial for the students. What's been your biggest reward, Linda?
Oh, just meeting these students from other countries. It's so much fun. It's been interesting to find out about their lives and their parents and their schools, their culture. I'm learning a lot from them. I learn more from them than they do from me, I'm sure.
That's excellent. Well, thank you for your time today.
Okay.
Appreciate it.